HMB warehouse. We got some consistency on this show. We've had a lot of viewers over the last few days. Ian and I are having a ton of fun kind of bringing you guys as up-to-date knowledge as possible to our local real estate community. We've done I think our 8th show, and we've had about 10,000 followers so far. So it's been fun, and we're going to be trying to bring on some local guests as well. If you're a local real estate investor, expert, and you think you have some good value to share with the community, feel free to reach out to one of us. And if we believe you're a good fit, we'll be happy to put you on the show with us. And we can chat, have a lot of fun, bring value, and things like that. So, of course, one of our guests just hopped on. I got to mute her real quick before I bring her on. Hang on one sec. Okay, there we go. So again, the purpose of the show, obviously we're in some very unfortunate times right now, and we're not really discussing anything related to the coronavirus and things like that. We're trying to focus on being optimistic and positive and proactive during these times. And residential real estate in general, although there may be some long-term effects in our business, there hasn't been too many effects as of yet, at least locally. A lot of real estate investors and agents and real estate professionals are still kind of working. I wouldn't necessarily say it's business as usual because, as of recently, we have our stay-at-home orders, and you got to be, for the most part, an essential business in order to operate. But in general, things are still proactively moving forward, and there's a lot of investors that believe that there's good opportunities right now, and who knows if these are good opportunities, or if we're just kind of all suckers and all of a sudden this whole thing's going to crash. I mean, I think Ian and I both are optimistic about the future, and yes, there could be some sort of market correction and things like that, but at the same time, we're optimistic, and we've seen some good deals, and Ian and I were just chatting about some opportunities and some deals that we currently were just involved in separately. And, we couldn't believe that some of the prices that were out there. So everyone keep their head up, keep their chins up, and stay optimistic.
Yeah, no, there's no way better to say it. I was just thinking on the way down here to the office, we were supposed to have another guest on. Granted, we're doing work, and, I think it's a great time. You want to stay optimistic. But it's a great time. I don't want to say take advantage of, but there's definitely ways to get work done. Those of you that are thrifty, now's a great chance to get some work done. I think that's going to be the topic of our discussion today. There's definitely deals to be had. Something that just happened to us yesterday is we had a seller reach back out to us and now want to agree to the negotiated price that we were discussing. All this going on. Now, 6 months ago, our offer wasn't good enough. Now, all of a sudden, our offer is the best offer on the table. The question is, do you keep digging on that, or do you, do you accept it because it was a good deal then? It's kind of a hard place to be. Now, it was an office complex, smaller type facility, but I think there's a good chance that we could, still make money, and I still think the price that we offered before should work going forward. So it'll be interesting to see if we get that one under contract or if we can continue to negotiate a little bit deeper on it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, now I'm here. I had to mute for a second. My dog was barking in the background. Let's bring on Amy Breeden real quick. So Amy's with Studio A Staging. Is that what it is? Studio A? Studio D? I don't remember. Anyways, let me unmute you, Amy. Because I am curious to ask her a bunch of questions related to what she's seeing right now, especially with, stay-at-home orders, and has it affected her business? But more importantly, if real estate investors are staging houses right now. So, Amy, I'm unmuting you now. Give me 1 sec, and you will be plopped on the screen. There you are. What's up?
Guys, how are you?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. It'll be fun. So I guess give us a rundown real quick.
We are moving and grooving. As of right now, I would say what's going on in this crazy world, we're still going. It hasn't really affected our business, but we're just staying positive, and we're taking all the precautions and doing what we know what to do, and that's staging houses.
Exactly. Are
I would say
investors still actively staging houses?
100%. 100%. I've gotten 3 calls today. We had 9 installs this week. It knock on wood, it hasn't affected us, which is surprising because going into it, you always want to be prepared. So I prepare my team, and we talk about it every single day and how we're going to move forward and remaining positive and how we can stay safe while being in these properties at the same time, but also servicing our clients because that's what's most important at the end of the day. And it's, as long as the phone's ringing and as long as we are able to get out there and do what we do, then that's what's most important.
Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense. I'd say, Amy, quick question I got for you:
Yeah.
have any of the investors brought up? And I know it's probably new and crazy, but has anybody been concerned about making sure the equipment's sanitized, or is there anything specifically that you're doing with your workers, or have any real estate investors brought up any of those types of concerns?
They haven't. They haven't, surprisingly. But every property we go into, I'm sending my team. We're going in with Lysol. We're going in with sanitary wipes. We have gloves, just to make sure that we're taking all the right steps. Because to be honest, we don't know who's been in the property before us. Some of the time when we arrive at properties, contractors are still there. We've made it, kind of mandatory that no one else other than us are allowed to be in the property during the time of staging, just for safety reasons, and it's to benefit all parties, at the end of the day.
Yeah, that should finally help you. Where I remember us trying to stage properties, and we got drywallers over top of your furniture. So I guess you'll be happy for that you don't have to worry about the drywall dust dropping on your furniture anymore.
And now that doesn't mean they won't come in when we leave.
Yeah, but at least you don't have to see it get destroyed, right?
Yes,
So,
exactly.
I know something we talked about before, and you're probably going to yell at me when I bring this up, but now that people are doing more virtual tours of properties, are you worried about more virtual staging or virtual staging making a comeback, or do you still think that the see it, feel it, touch it's ultimately going to win?
So what I'm recommending to my clients, which isn't something that I usually recommend, is doing the 3D Matterport tours. What that is obviously, a photographer goes in and shoots every property. But what the Matterport does is it provides a visual, which a photography service, can provide, and it walks you through the property. So if you're watching it from your computer on the screen, you can, click these little circles that it's like you're actually in the property. So you can stand in front of the couch, behind the couch, and pretty much walk into every single room. So you get the feel as if you're in the property. That's something that I'm really pushing because you don't know how many buyers are going to want to get out there and meet their agents at properties. And it's really important to take and use marketing to, your full advantage.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense. And
virtual staging now, with that being said, virtual staging, it doesn't give you that. So sure, is it cheaper? 100%, but you're still going to have that buyer that's going to want to go in and most likely see the property that they're buying or the home that they're buying, and then there's going to be no furniture in it.
Right, and I still don't think that virtual staging's gotten far enough. I mean, the way you guys stage your properties are absolutely gorgeous, and your flippers that are doing the work are doing quality work.
Right.
I don't think virtual staging, it still doesn't look it doesn't look real, right?
It doesn't look as real, and then when you get in the property, I don't know about you, but if I'm looking to buy a home, obviously the first place I'm going to view it is most likely online. And then I'm going to go by and I'm going to view it. And once I'm in the property, I'm not going to pull out my phone and be like, oh, hey, let me look at these photos to see how they had the furniture laid out that now isn't in the property.
Right.
That's what's most important.
Yeah. Have you seen any of your investors having to extend past your normal contract dates? Does the market seem slower right now, or is it everything status quo?
A very small percentage. Usually if properties have to go, past our term, it's price, I would say. It's very rare that we do go into a monthly, which is kind of why, I don't know.
Right.
You just see the results.
Yeah, no, I mean that makes sense. I guess it was more like your consistent, your people that are normally turning in quick time frames. Have they had any stumbling, going out the door getting stuff sold? I guess because sure we're optimistic, realtors optimistic, you're optimistic, but somewhere in that supply chain, if there's a delay in something, somebody's going to come out and say, well, yeah, no, staging's not getting out quick, or
No,
titles not getting done.
we staged a property on Monday that was under contract in 3 days.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, especially with everything going on right now, that's huge for us. That's the feedback that I love to get, and that's, why we enjoy what we do.
What, obviously we do a lot of rentals. I know we've discussed it before about staging rentals. I mean, is this a time where you think people are going to have to step up and start staging rentals because of more virtual tours of everything?
I have clients that stage rentals.
Okay.
I do, and I think they do it just because it's, even though the profit isn't there, at the end of it, they want it, they want to sell it quickly and they want to get it rented quickly.
Right.
So they're putting their best foot forward and they're just staging them. But yeah, I mean, as far as marketing comes, I think it's crucial to stage a property, whether it's a rental or not.
Right. What do you what is there anything specific that you think you're going to have to do different, or is there another revenue stream that's come out of this for you in your business? Like, has interior design increased because more people are sitting at home, or is there another revenue stream, or has it just been consistently what you do?
So far, it's consistently what we do. It hasn't affected us, and I hope that it doesn't affect us.
Right.
If it does, I need to keep my team. We need to keep busy, and I want to keep my team moving. So there are a lot of different routes that we can take. Home staging is our forte. It's what we love to do, and it's what we're best at. Interior design, I don't know that people are going to be putting money into that right now.
Right.
So
what, yeah, and I know you obviously your husband's. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, that was my thought process. Is what happens in a week from now? Let's say a week from now, everything gets shut down a little bit more. Construction's not an essential business. Real estate's not an essential business. You kind of just go on defense, kind of hunker down, kind of revamp the plan until it gets back into order.
100%. As of right now, the only, Pennsylvania is the only stage, that they're not allowed to serve, and that's installs or removals for staging right now. Everyone else is up and running, and they're able to keep pushing through. So as long as we can do that, that's what I plan to do. Safety is first. Safety of myself and my team is really important. So if we get to a point where it's not safe, we'll have to revisit things. But right now, we're just taking it day by day and doing what we can.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah,
I mean, I go ahead.
I was gonna make a bad joke. I'm gonna say if I get stuck in the hospital and there's no hospital beds left, I'm having studio staging come stage my hospital room. So
there you go. At least you'd feel at home, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I would guess there's going to always be a need for some sort of staging. You might have to pivot in one way or the other, but I think the whole supply chain of real estate investing in general, which is interesting, is there's so many parties involved, and I think everybody gets affected in one little way. And it may come to the point that if the market's really really bad and there's less properties that kind of are getting sold, that might impact your business. On the other side of it, if the market's really, really, really good, that could also impact your business because maybe people are like, I don't want to spend the extra money on staging. I'm just going to go in at it solo because I know it'll sell either way. So I think in general, I don't think anyone really wants anything drastic to happen to the real estate investing industry. Kind of just stay the same, stay solid. Like, let's have good opportunities. If you find a really good deal, there's opportunity made. If you don't find a really good deal, you might lose, you might not make any money on the deal. And in general, just kind of keep everything slow and steady. And I know we've always talked about this, but I don't think, and if somebody wants this, they're crazy. You don't want stuff to go up and then down and then up and then down. I mean, it's just slow and steady. Slow and steady wins the race all the time. Even if prices just increase slowly, there's just a lot more opportunity there, and there's more longevity to any business model than just these spikes up and down, kind of like we've been seeing in the stock market recently.
Right. Right. No, absolutely. I completely agree with you. For us, I say we're very fortunate because 90% of our business, they are investors. So, most investors out there, they want to keep moving and grooving. They want to keep making money. And in order to do that, they need to put out properties. So as long as they're putting out properties, we're staging them, right?
Yeah, exactly. And also, I would guess, just from knowing you guys, that you have the upper hand compared to a lot of other staging companies in general. And this has been a very common theme on this show related to who's going to be in trouble and who's not going to be in trouble. And the strong are going to survive, the weak are not going to are going to go under, and the ones in the middle, who knows? Depending on how hard they work, depending on what resources they have available to. But if you don't have much overhead, if you already have a lot of the equipment, if you can weather the storm financially for a few months until everything gets back up and running, maybe not normal, but back up and running, you're fine. If you're reliant on each deal to close and you're pushing hard to try to get every single one of these properties staged, just don't have a chance. So I think it actually will benefit the companies that are more stabilized, who have a bigger operation, who've already done all the heavy lifting and put in a lot of hard work. We're all gonna have to continue to do a lot of hard work to stay going and to get back to where we were. But at the same time, it's the difference between staying in business and not staying in business.
Right.
Hey, Amy, did you ever get into any like office or commercial staging ever?
No.
Oh, I think you're lucky in that aspect. I know we briefly discussed it before.
We discussed it. Down the road, I'll say there's the possibilities that we could branch off are endless, and I think about them every day. But right now, my main focus, we're so busy. I mean, I have 85 properties that are staged right now. So for me, my main focus is the staging. We could go into so many different things. We could offer so many different services, but if we can keep going with these houses, then that's what we enjoy doing, and that's what we want to do.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's a great business. It's a great business model, assuming investors have inventory for you. And I think on the other side of this, in the end, no matter what happens, people are still going to need a place to live. People are still going to flip houses,
Right. Right.
So there's
Right.
definitely business.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of real estate agents will start to see the value in it as well if they have a vacant property that's out there, because it's just without staging, it's just a blank slate. So if you move furniture in there, then you get online marketing, it just looks great.
Yep, I agree, and we certainly appreciate it. Amy, how can everybody find you real quick?
We have a Facebook page, which is Studio A Staging, where you can see hundreds of properties we've staged. We also have an Instagram, that's also Studio A Staging, or you can call me direct at 410-925-7498.
We appreciate it. Thanks, Amy.
Thanks, Amy. See ya.
See ya.
She brings up, honestly, she brings up a really valid point. I wonder if it's a time like where if you're in a competitive situation, not only for selling houses, but rental properties, I think are going to become more competitive, because you're going to have the house flippers that can't sell.
Yeah.
And you're going to have inventory. It's going to be, like Jack was saying yesterday, maybe a little bit harder to move tenants right now. That I wonder if it's a time to like come up and talk to her about staging rental properties,
I don't know. I don't have enough experience with ours, because, the most we ever had were 20 and we've got whatever, our 14 left. So I'm not sure. You'd be the best person you would know better than others. When you have subsidized tenants, do you have issues, or is it mostly just the retail tenants?
Honestly, we have one vacant unit right now, and with everything going on, it's kind of like, it's hard to compete when you can't get traction, right? So how can you compete online, or how can you get people to view your property and have the best pictures available to you? I just thought it was interesting that she brought it up. I'm literally thinking out loud right here on camera right now, just thinking of ideas,
Yeah, and potentially you could, this is her business model, not ours, but a reduced price point where it's just you stage the living room and that's it, or the kid, you like something, because there's obviously you wouldn't want to pay it, equivalent to a whole month's worth of rent, to to get that thing staged, or who knows, maybe that is worth it doing it if you get a longer term tenant in there. But I guess it really depends on the situation. So my takeaways were a few things. Number one, real estate is still very active, and a lot of investors are staying very proactive, and they want to get their hands involved in every deal that they can right now. I mean, that's good that, things are still kind of, and again, like, I don't want to use the term business as usual, but like, business is still getting done, which is good. Everyone wants to be proactive, and business is getting done. And I believe that their business model, not just the model, because I like the model, but them as operators and their business is strong enough that no matter what happens, kind of will survive. And this is a real stress test on a lot of people related to what's going to end up happening. Can you weather the storm? I mean, if you can't weather the storm for a month or two, like, that's tough. And it'll be challenging. And a lot of real estate investors and real estate pros, their businesses operate month to month, just like homeowners might operate paycheck to paycheck. So we'll see what happens. And the interesting thing is, I think that whoever kind of, not necessarily survives, but whoever's proactive, optimistic, moving forward with their business as best as they can in kind of the guidelines that are available. And listen, if construction's not essential and other things in her business are not essential, like, she's going to have to close shop and no income will be coming in potentially. And, that's something that will happen, and that could happen to a lot of people. But in general, the ones that are, active and not just being like, optimistic's part of it, because sometimes it's hard to be optimistic when you got to play defense. Some people are on straight defense. Like, I need to clean up my portfolio because it's a mess. I can't think about, buying new stuff or bringing on new clients. Like, I got to, some people might have to play straight defense, and I get that. And, if that's the case, that's fine. But like, these are the times where, instead of running and hiding, like, these are the times that you do good by yourself, your employees, your business, your private capital investors, your partners. Like, this is grind mode. This isn't like, cool, well, I don't have a lot of work to do today, I'm just going to do my hours worth of work and then go home. This is like, get on Gary Vee's schedule and hunker down for 20 hours a day if you need to. And some people's are worse than others, right? Some people, it's straight survival. Like, I got to do whatever I can to make it work. And some people, it's like, hey, like, I don't have much work to do. It's like, well, figure out what to do, because if you want to be as strong as you can when you come back, when stuff comes back, let's say in the summer, this is the time to do it. This is the time to do the heavy lifting. So you're in front of your clients, and you're in, front of your marketing campaign. You're in front of your capital investors. You're in front of whoever, to be as strong as you can be.
All right. Well, and what I was going to ask you, and you bring up all valid points, is that, there are going to be a lot of people that are struggling during this, not just us, but homeowners and other businesses. So something that I think you can do is match your message, right? Like, Amy, sure, she normally stages and she promises that, hey, we can sell it in 3 days, but maybe the message now is, hey, listen, you got this property, times are a little more tough, people are doing stuff virtual. Let's jump on here. Let's get this place staged. Let's do a Matterport. And, you can provide value. The biggest thing, and it was a huge takeaway I took from some podcasts that I listened to. I think you listen to the same one, is matching the message right now. If you're doing a marketing campaign right now, it's not get out there and say, hey, I'll give you the best dollar for your value. No, it's you're solving a situation for people. You need to match the message of what's going on. Up until 2 weeks ago or a week ago, it was the best thing in the world. Everybody was promising prosperity. Now everybody's in survival mode. So you need to figure out how to match your message to that. So if you're a big marketer, we don't do a ton of wholesale deals, but if I was doing a mailing campaign, I would find a way to match that message of, of surviving or getting through this, or some way, shape, or form matching that message.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, we've talked about this on every day that we've done podcast. Every day we've talked about this exact same thing. Like, this is the time that you create your marketing campaigns. This is the time that you create your brand. This is the time that you go all in. Most people do not have as much transactional work to do right now that they have in the past, me included, right? I still get a lot of calls every day, a lot of loan applications every day. We're still closing lots of loans every week. That being said, there's still less transactional work that is done. So, we're game planning strategies in order to, make sure we come up on top. And, I've talked to a lot of other investors and business owners and just a lot of other people in general that are proactively doing stuff. And, you could be the person that you're sitting at home watching, binging Netflix and doing whatever. And like, I don't want to preach like Gary Vee because like, I'm certainly not a robot like him. And I'm not one to do, grind 12 hours or whatever, but you don't need to, how often do you normally work? 9 to 5? Great. You can do everything in that exact same window. You can still accomplish everything else because I know that everyone doesn't have as much transactional work to do. Yes, they might have to play defense on stuff that they weren't intending to in the past, and I get it. But like, these are the times that, you can game plan. But, I don't think anyone's going out right now and gonna, make an absolute fortune overnight right now. It's just not going to happen. Everyone's hunkering down and stuff like that. But that being said, do right by others, do whatever you can for your community. But then at the same time, figure out your game plan for your investment business and then come out ahead. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're a real estate agent, figure out some sort of marketing campaign that you want to put in place right now that's going to start June 1st or July 1st. Honestly, I probably wouldn't even start it right now. I would just wait and see what happens with things and have the whole thing in place. And then maybe, come July 1st, hey, it's summertime. We skipped our spring market because, who knows what's going to happen with our spring market, but people want to get into houses before, the next school year. So all of a sudden, July 1st, do your marketing campaigns, pick up the phone, start doing stuff. Like, time is going to tell very, very quickly who the strong are. And guess what? Even if you don't have the strongest business model right now, or if you're newer or whatever the case is, and you're not fully, you're not, in a perfect situation now, you can be soon by just, putting all the pieces in place so you can go all in on the real estate industry as soon as, things change up.
Yeah, best defense is the best offense, right? If you have your affairs in order now and take advantage of it. Another nice thing I think right now is that a lot of people working from home is the time compression factor. There's not as much white noise going on right now that you can get your transactional work done in a faster period of time and have more free time to decide, what you want to get done or how you want to advance your business on the other side of this. I've already spent time thinking about what we're going to do on the other side of this, and I think there's going to be a ton of opportunity. There's going to be some pent-up demand. Let the pent-up demand get out of the way. Let things fall back to status quo, and still break back into where you need to be. If you're in an industry that's pent-up demand industry, get out there and get your money right on the other side of this.
Question for you: how many more properties you guys like? What's your goal on that? I don't think we've talked about that, and I don't know if that recently, and I don't know if that's changed recently as well. Like, what's your plan related to how many more units you're looking for? And is this the time that you think you're gonna, is all that going to be accomplished over the next few years? Would you say, or is it just like, hey, we want to buy 10 every year for the next 10 years? Like, what's your setup?
We have, as much as I say that you need to have a plan, we don't have much of a set plan. We do have we're in a good position now that we get to be opportunistic. I think we've concentrated a lot more on, since we've got to our, critical mass, on operational type efficiencies, especially during this time, allowing us to come to the other side. The thing is that pricing was getting so bad, in our opinion, coming up to this, that it allowed us to stop and say, take a deep breath. Let's work on operations. Let's get operations squared away. Let's refine all of our processes. And then on the other side of this, we can be opportunistic, whether it's picking up additional portfolios, picking up larger size multifamily type deals, commercial type stuff. That's kind of where our brain is right now. I think out of all this, it hasn't necessarily put a kibosh on how many more units we want to add, because we don't have really a definitive number. We're good where we're at. If we grow, great. If not, we're happy where we are. Now, what this whole situation has done is brought up a lot more discussions of, instead of deploying capital on new investments, do we reduce our leverage points? Do we pay down debts, our mortgages, and try to get the portfolio debt free? You know, does it put you at a competitive advantage in times like these? Absolutely. If you have no debt, you have no reason to sweat this thing out. All you got to do is pay your taxes and your maintenance costs.
Exactly.
So it's really made us think. It's all ideas that we've had before. It's just forced it to come to the forefront and have deeper discussions about it, and decide if, you know, we want to take action on it, you know?
Yeah, and I mean the witness test for these for real estate investors in general, are you reliant on doing new deals to stay, to stay afloat? And that's tough. That's tough if you ask a real estate agent that. That's tough if you ask a real estate flipper that. It's tough for a lot of people. Are you reliant on doing your, one flip a month or selling your 3 houses a month as a real estate agent, or even Amy, staging 10 houses a month? Are you reliant on that? And if that dries up, like, number one, that's work, right? You're trading time for dollars in that particular case. The business model of buying real assets, that's where it's about. Buying rental properties, that's where it's about. Because, for instance, like, you might not be in a position right now to just say, hey, like, I'm good, because you have leverage on your properties, and obviously leverage isn't necessarily a bad thing depending on how much leverage you have. But, like, again, if you have let's say you have 5 properties and they all bring in $1,000 a month and they're all worth $100,000 and they're all free and clear, right? You're making $5,000 in gross income right now, assuming the tenants are paying and things like that. Well, guess what? You're not reliant. That income's stable. Obviously, if you lose tenants, and that's fine, but you work that into your equation and your vacancy rates and things like that. But you don't need to. You're not reliant on going to buy another property to survive. And a lot of it, real estate investors, I feel like they're getting into this business for the wrong reasons. They're not getting into this business to buy assets. They're just getting in this business to, fix and flip a house or do one-off transactions to get a fee. And there's nothing wrong with one-off transactions to get a fee, right? We do them all the time. We do them every day. You do them every day if you're doing wholesales and flips. And when we do loans, I'm doing it the same thing. But the point is the purpose of doing that is to bucket cash to buy assets. And that can be performing notes. That can be rental properties. It can be any type of asset. It doesn't have to be in real estate. But the big test is, is your money working for you, or are you working for your money? And so many people, we use this analogy all the time, but like most real estate investors we know make less money than they would if they would just go work for the real estate investment company next door. They could just go work for the next door and make a solid 9-to-5 salary, go home, and not have any risk of the portfolio.
And I think, something that you quoted or that you told me a long time ago, I think about it a lot, is view every deal as you're the investor in the deal. Not that you're the operator, but you're the investor. When you start taking that mindset and saying, okay, well, how can I deploy my time and money better than what I'm doing today? It really makes you think. And that goes from even if you're wholesaling every day, look at Terry. I think we should bring him on and discuss how we build a team around him, to potentially reduce some of his daily operational stuff. But in the end, look at your business as you are the investor, not that you're the daily operator, and you'll make huge strides. And now's the time to take a pause, get your white noise, do all your crap in the morning, get it done, and then take your time in the afternoon. Or if you're more productive in the morning, work on your high level stuff in the morning, and then do all your transactional work in the afternoon.
And investment vehicle. It's a straight investment vehicle. That's the way it's got to be looked at. And everyone can do obviously what they want to do. And you listen, if you're selling a lot of houses, you're buying a lot of fix and flips, or whatever the case is, that's all good. What you got behind you?
Can we get them on? Should we do it right now?
You're a little blurry. You're a little blurry, Dan, but we can at least see you.
The mystical man, Daniel. There he is. You got any words of wisdom during this Corona time?
Are you guys see? How far is that coffee maker from you, Ian? 6 feet?
Yeah, about 6 feet.
All right, that's good.
Oh, does it make Dan look skinny? Is that what you're going to say?
No, I wasn't going to say that.
So
I can't even see that it is Dan, to be honest, because your camera's like trying to zoom in on both of you guys and it's making you blurry. but it's all good.
Well, we can't get any closer than 6 feet. That's the issue.
I know. I know. That's why I asked if it was 6 feet away.
Yeah, maybe I'll go online. If we're going to continue to do these, I guess I should go online and order a real, what's that thing called? Camera, whatever the heck you guys call these things.
You have one. It looks fine.
Yeah, I'm on the Mac. I'll get a good one.
Yeah, whatever. It's fine. Yeah. So, anyways, to follow up what we were saying about related to investing in assets, that's where it's about, and you gotta think of it like that, because let's be honest, the goal of the game is your passive income to be higher than your monthly outtake of bills and living expenses and things like that. And I know for a fact that investors that have a lot of assets right now, they're sweating because they might be depreciating and things like that, but at least they have multiple streams of income that are coming in daily and regularly, and they're not all reliant on one.
Right. What's the big plans for tomorrow?
I think we got Mike Shock coming on tomorrow.
Shocker? We got the Shocker coming back. Yeah, that should be interesting to hear. He's a big flipper, and he does a lot of flips, and it'd be interesting to deep dive him and see what his expectation. And I mean, even I would be wondering if he'd be willing to talk about some of his real estate teaching and what he sees in that industry, and what's going to come of that. The big group seminar type situations.
Yeah, we'll see. We got him on. Who else we got on? Anyone else we should invite on with him?
I'm going to go dig through the Rolodex, see what I can find for tomorrow. See if I can find someone.
Yeah, if anyone thinks they can bring value to real estate investing, I'd like to hop on with some more realtors. I think realtors are good right now in different areas, just to see kind of what they're seeing. Every realtor I talk to is very optimistic as well, because they believe that they're seeing a lot of showings and things like that. So that's good.
Yeah, but that goes back to your point just 2 seconds ago. Are they being optimistic because they need that next deal tomorrow, or are they being optimistic because they're really seeing good results in the marketplace?
Yeah, and I don't know, a little bit of both, a little bit of both, I guess. But who knows? Who knows? And again, like, we can probably end this like this. Yeah, if anyone's kind of on the fence with buying real estate right now, you got to think of every real estate investment as an asset that you purchase. Today, you might buy it for $100,000. It might be worth 90 tomorrow. It might be worth 110 tomorrow. Who's to know? You got to do your best underwriting. You got to do your best analysis. You got to be the expert. The highest level job of any real estate investment company is you as the person who is underwriting the asset to determine if it's a good asset to invest in. And Ian's model of buying rentals is great, because guess what? You buy a property today for $100,000 and you rent it out for $1,000 a month. It doesn't matter what happens tomorrow. It doesn't matter if it's worth 90 tomorrow, 80 tomorrow, 0 tomorrow. Until you buy, sell, trade that asset, it doesn't matter. Equity is a fake number. It just doesn't matter. So if he buys it for $100,000 today, if it's worth 90 tomorrow, be pissed off. He let $10,000 in equity go. But if it's a long-term play, it doesn't really matter. As long as it's rented out, the investment vehicle is running, it works fine. It doesn't matter until the time comes. Now, obviously, it makes the most sense to make sure you're not too over leveraged on this in case you do need to unload properties quickly. But the point being that, today you might buy that property for 100. Tomorrow something happens and you say, you know what? The house is only worth about 80 to me now, and I want to buy it for 80. That's fine. Go buy it for 80. In my opinion, the best loans that we're writing right now are right now. A loan I wrote today is better than a loan I wrote 3 months ago or 3 weeks ago, for that matter, right? We're more conservative today than I was potentially 3 weeks ago. So as the markets are turning and going up and going down, you adjust and you pivot and you change your underwriting of that asset to whatever you see is fit and to whatever makes the most sense. And again, you might not be right all the time, but if you're doing this in volume, or you're doing this and you're acquiring assets, and you look at everything kind of as a whole. So let's say Ian has 5 properties in one neighborhood, right? He buys 5 properties in the same neighborhood. He pays 100 for one, 90 for one, 80 for one, 130 for one, and 110 for one. Like, look at his cost average on those in general, right? It's okay. Maybe he paid too much for one, but maybe he got a home run deal over here. So that's kind of the way I look at it. Now, obviously, if you're fixing and flipping houses and you're looking for real short-term profit, that doesn't work as well. But again, I still think there's an opportunity, and I see investors buying fix and flips every day right now, because partially it's because, hey, I could have bought this property for 130 3 weeks ago. Now I got the guy down to 110. It's a good deal. I'm gonna take advantage of it. And maybe it might be a good deal, but like mentally, I think people are saying, I got it at a $20,000 discount. I should take advantage of this. But if you're doing a fix and flip, time is money. Get in and out of it as quick as possible. Buy it at the price that you think makes sense. Execute, because that's where this comes to. Execute as quick as possible and get it unloaded as quick as possible, and have a contingency plan. Maybe you hold it as a rental if you need to. Whatever the case is, maybe you move into it if you need to. Whatever the place is. So have definite backup plans, but I don't care if the market decreased and decreased and decreased and decreased. As it's going down and down and down, we would continue to buy and we would continue to lend. And as the market goes up, we would continue to buy and continue to lend. We would just adjust accordingly.
All very, very valid points. My phone just dinged. Amazon package. Sorry, Glenn. Jason was on a rant. I was listening. My phone rang. I got my Amazon package came here. It looks like my new golf sticks here, and I'm about to tear you guys up. So, it looks like
I'll show you what it looks. I'll show you what it looks like right here, Ian, so you have it. So this is what the golf club looks like. It's got a holder, like if you're playing Nintendo Wii. Right. So if you're playing a game, you don't throw it at you throw it at your TV. It hooks up to a golf game, and this is just you swing this like a golf club. It's actually a good grip. That's one of the strong things, is the grip is good. And if you want, you can actually. There's an adapter that goes into here, and actually you can hook that up into any golf club if you want, but then you'd have to go in and out each time, like put in your driver, then put in your putter. So the game, we'll all play. Me, you, and Glenn will play. Whoever else has it, let us know if you have, what's it called? Golf? Golf? Golf. Let us know if you have it, and we'll try to do a group, a group game coming up soon. It is a little bit limited. I got to upgrade so I can get all the courses. I haven't done that yet, but it's hard at this point. Like, I'm having a hard. It's just hard, and I pull everything left. Although that's typically what I do on the golf course, anyways. But all right, cool. What time we on tomorrow, so we can tell everybody?
Same time tomorrow. Which seems like 1:30 is a good time after lunch. Like Jason said, if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to me, Ian at equitywarehouse.com, or you can find Jason at jason@hardmoneybankers.com, or shoot us a message right on here. If you want to jump online, we're going to be talking to Mike Schock, who's a flipper. If any of you guys are out there or flipping or wholesaling, you want to jump on here, do a live with us. I'd love to hear and see what you're seeing in the marketplace currently. We would love to have you on as a guest. If we're ever live and you want to jump on, all you got to do is shoot us a message and we can shoot you the link and you can jump right on.
All right, guys. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay proactive, and play and stay